All right, hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Francesa podcast on the Bet Rivers Network. We come to you on the Mike Francesa channel on YouTube. I didn't even stay around for one shining moment. I'll catch it later. After Florida's come from behind 2-point win over Houston. Now, don't make a big deal about the 12-point comeback because they were up 12 with 17 minutes left. And then Houston, which got out great in terms of fouls. Florida had 7 when Houston had 1. Next thing you know, Houston started piling up fouls. They had 10 when Florida had 7. So they committed 9 fouls in a row, 3-on-1 play. Now, Florida got a couple of stupid technicals. But other than that, Houston is going to kick themselves for losing this game. But let me first give you why Florida won. Florida won because they were actually tougher than Houston down the stretch. That's number one. They played tougher, they played bolder, they played more courageous than Houston did, which was not what happened against Duke. Now, commend Richard, who not only picked up the slack for them being able to defend Clayton as well as they did, and give Clayton credit because Clayton got 11 points in the second half, and he shook off all the frustration in the first half and made big play after big play. So he did his job. Cryer didn't do his job. Now, Richard winds up with 18 points, 8 rebounds. Had a brilliant game for Florida, kept them in the game. Otherwise, they're out of the game at halftime and probably down 20 early in the second half. He was terrific. The other guy who was terrific for Florida was Condon. Condon had 12 points and 7 rebounds. He had 4 steals and made a ton of big defensive plays, including a couple in the final minute of the game. Give Condon credit. Great job by Florida to have the bigs outrun Houston. It bothered Houston the whole game. Number 3, Aberdeen came up with a big 7 points off the bench when they needed it. And Florida made their free throws. They made 17 of 21. Houston shot 9 of 14 from the foul line, and it hurt them. Houston shot 35% for the game, 31% in the second half, shot 25% from 3. We know the shooting percentages weren't going to be high in this game. But Florida's defense out-toughed Houston, and Houston's lack of execution down the stretch was actually appalling. And listen, give Florida credit for the defense they played. Give them credit for coming back. I mean, the game was tied at 58 with 8 minutes left, 7:54. So it was anybody's game at that point. And Houston was then in big foul trouble. Houston's a better team when Tugler's on the floor and he fouled out and he was in foul trouble. That hurts them because he's a great defender. But a couple of things here. Number one, it didn't turn out to be a factor, but Florida got very lucky on the press on the inbounds play where Aberdeen went to the line and made 1 of 2 to put him up 2. He walked on the play. Go look at the play. Before he gets fouled, he drags his pivot foot about 3 feet. Absolutely walked. Not only did Clayton almost throw it out of bounds, Aberdeen walked. I mean, you could check it out. But again, didn't matter because they were up 1 and they didn't get a shot off. Now, realize in this game how many times Cryer, who had 19 points, but who shot 6 for 18 and had some terrible, terrible turnovers late. Cryer could have helped put them away time and time and time again. He did not come up big. You heard a report where they said he implored Roberts and Cryer to play harder. I agree. I thought they had to play harder. I thought Florida was outplaying them and was playing harder and playing more courageous down the stretch. And then Houston, think about it. In this game, this is what they're going to have to live with. And congrats to Florida. They came from behind, you know, throughout the tournament. They came from behind against Texas Tech when they should have lost. They came from behind against Auburn when they were down at the half. They came from behind a lot in the tournament. Give them credit. And they came from about 12 points down early in the second half tonight. They're a tough team. They played well. They did their job. Good for them. They deserve to win. They deserve to win. But Houston's going to have to live with this. And it is uglier than ugly can be. Houston is down. Okay, let's take it from here. Houston goes to the line. Tugler goes to the line with 2 minutes left. Makes one. Puts Houston up 63-62. He misses the second free throw. Okay, Florida. Clayton misses a three-pointer. So Houston has the ball. Up one. Now with 125 and ticking. Uzan takes a three and misses it. Houston gets the rebound. Cryer goes to the baseline for a little running one-hander and misses that. 2 chances there to go up 3 or 4 points. Now, okay, off the Cryer miss, Tugler gets the offensive rebound, but he comes down with it with 1:21 left, and Condon steals the ball from him. And Sampson almost jumps out of the building. He was so mad at Tugler. Now, Tugler is his favorite player. We know that. Great defensive player, plays his rear end off. He has the ball there. Instead of going back up hard, he took the ball all the way back down, and then he didn't get a jump ball on him. He stole the ball from him there. So now that's one turnover with 1:21 left, a turnover off an offensive rebound. They get the rebound off the Condon miss. Right? What happens? Cryer turns the ball over. Now, Cryer had turned it over previously by stepping on the out-of-bounds line and not reestablishing himself before he caught the ball, so he was out of bounds. Now he turns the ball over. So now that's twice. That one was with 50 seconds left. So now twice they had a chance to take the lead back. Don't get a shot. Don't get a shot. It's still up one, remember. I mean, they have the lead there, 63-62. Now Martin gets fouled by Tugler. He fouls out of the game. Martin makes both free throws. Now Florida's up 64-63. Those first 2 turnovers came with Houston up 1. Now Houston is down 1 with 46 seconds left. What happens? Sharp tries to drive the ball to the basket instead of finding Cryer. And Cryer was not running to the ball, which I blame Cryer for. He's supposed to be their go-to guy. Sharp, who made a lot of big shots, tries to drive it through 3 guys. Richard hits the ball off him and knocks it out of bounds. So now the last 3 times they have the ball, twice up 1, once down 1, they turn the ball over. And then they get the ball back. And I have no problem with Sampson going for the win. But you know that Florida's going to run them off the 3-point line and say, okay, we want you to throw the ball inside, drive it on us, where we know the worst thing that happens is we go to overtime. What they want is a 3-point shot, except Cryer doesn't look for the shot. He gives the ball back to Sharp. Sharp's now going to shoot it because Cryer gave him the ball back. Cryer never should have given him the ball back. He should have wanted the shot there. They should have done a better job getting Cryer a screen and getting him the ball there. Instead, Sharp goes up. Clayton runs at him, and he has to drop the ball because he's going to go up and down. There's going to be a travel. So the bottom line is he has to leave the ball there, and the game ends as Condon goes down and jumps on the ball. So they don't get a shot on their last 4 possessions. That is as bad as it can possibly get. 2 up 1. That can either put you up 3 or put you up 4. 2 down 1, including trying to hit a 3 for the game winner. They didn't get a shot at the basket on their last 4 possessions in the last 121. That isn't bad. That is all-time awful. That is offense at the absolute worst that it can possibly be in a big spot. This team that had made so many miraculous plays against Kansas in the regular season, against Purdue in the tournament, making big shots, making big baskets. We know that. But where was Cryer when they needed him down the stretch of this game? He killed them. Clayton wasn't great. He had a rough game against a great defense. He scored 11 points. He got them all in the second half, and a lot of those baskets were big ones. 2 of them tied the game on 3-pointers. 1 3 outside, 2 3-point plays. 3 times he tied the game. Give him credit for that. They never gave Houston separation again. They never let Houston breathe again. And Houston, in the last 10 minutes of this game, had so much trouble scoring. Give Florida's defense credit for that. Give Florida's physicality credit for that. But again, when Houston had to have it offensively, they were nowhere. And frankly, I got to have Cryer take the ball there. And I don't care if he takes the 3 off a dribble. I don't care if he shake and bakes and takes the 3. I don't care what he does, but he's got to get a 3 up and get a decent look and get the 3 in the air there. If it misses, you tip your hat and you go home. But the idea that ended with Tuggle taking the ball down underneath the basket and having it ripped out of his arms with 121 left, with Cryer taking the ball to the basket and getting the ball knocked out of his hands with 50 seconds left, with Sharp driving into 3 guys and getting the ball knocked off him and out of bounds, and then Sharp again handed the ball back, probably didn't even think he was going to get the ball back there, got the ball back there, tried to go up, and then Clayton ran at him, and he couldn't get the shot off. They blitzed the 3. 4 possessions in the last 121, 0 shots, 2-point loss. Houston led most of the game. They were up 8 with the ball. They were up 10 with the ball. They were once up 12 with the ball. And they couldn't put Florida away. Richard kept them in the game in the first half. Richard, Condon, Aberdeen kept them in the game. And then Clayton showed up and got 11 big points and made big plays to keep them in the game down the stretch. They made their free throws. Houston didn't make all of them. I didn't think Roberts played well. I didn't think Cryer played well. I think these numbers, you got to give Florida credit for it, but Cryer shoots 6 of 18. Roberts shoots 3 of 13. Sharp shoots 3 of 11. Uzan shoots 2 of 9. The team other than Cryer Other than Cryer, they shot 2 for 15 from 3. Cryer made 4. The rest of the team made 2. Sharp and Uzan were 1 for 11. They didn't do enough. They didn't get the offensive rebounds. Florida out-rebounded them for the game, 37-35. Florida only turned the ball over 4 times in the second half. Houston turned the ball over either 6 or 7 times in the second half, and many of them in the final 3 minutes. And Florida out-toughed them. Florida just out-toughed them. It was gonna take a team to out-tough them, and give Florida credit. I thought Florida was stupid at times in the middle of the game because they were almost trying to be macho to out-tough them, and then they finally realized that's not the way to out-tough them. Play harder to out-tough them. Don't grab them, don't push them, don't commit stupid fouls. Play harder to out-tough them. And then they played harder than they did. And they played tougher than they did. Down the stretch, they were the tougher team, and I actually thought that even if that game went to overtime, I thought Florida would have won because I thought Florida had more left than Houston did. I don't think Houston had in any way worn Florida down. Florida had size, they had depth up front, and their bigs. Houston did not push them around. Houston pounded on Duke more than they pounded on Florida. And Cryer down the stretch, you got to have a guy who wants the ball, and I never got the impression that Cryer had to have the shot. I felt he was indecisive, and I felt he just wasn't declarative down the stretch with the ball. You need your big guy to be declarative that if he has even an inch, he's taking it. And he's going to go off the dribble, and he's going to take the ball to the basket, and he's going to go hard. And to me, he was just in between. I don't want floaters in the last 2 minutes. I want you to either pull up and take the jump shot or take it hard to the rack, get fouled. I don't want floaters. Houston's going to sit down. They had a great tournament. They had a great win against Duke. That might have won a championship because we don't know if Florida could have beat Duke. Duke was that good. Florida did them a favor by beating Duke. And then Florida, listen, was all out to beat Houston. I'm not saying this was easy. It wasn't by any stretch of the imagination. Houston's a great defensive team. But their lack of execution on the offensive end was so crippling tonight. They were so bad in the last 8 minutes. Every time they came up the floor, I did not know where they were going to get a decent shot. Every single time. And I felt that Florida was going to get a good shot. They did with rolls to the basket, or whether they drove to the basket, whether it was Richard or Aberdeen, or it was finally Clayton taking over a little offensively and running plays. 3 times they ran plays out of bounds where Clayton scored off plays out of bounds. That's a sign of good coaching. So if you're a Houston fan tonight, that's a heartbreaking loss of epic proportions. Kelvin Sampson, 69. Who knows when he gets back here? If you're Florida, it's a great win. Great win. And congratulations to them. They earned it. They out-toughed the tough guys. They out-executed the tough guys. And down the stretch, they out-defended the tough guys. They earned it. They out-toughed Houston. I didn't think they would do that. I thought with 12 minutes left that Houston was a play or 2 away from breaking them. They never could break them. I thought Houston had 2 shots in the game to open up significant separation, and they did not take advantage of either time. And one of the rallies that Florida had came with Clayton on the bench. to give them credit for answering the way they did. Now, in the first half, Houston got some play from their bench because Francis and Wilson both came off the bench and got some points. They did a good job in that regard. They wound up with 17 points, but they had 13 of them at the half, 13 or 14. Cryer had 19 points, but he had a bad 19 points. Really bad. And if I'm him, I'm going to have a hard time watching this tape. So, hey, from a Final Four standpoint, we talked about the 4 teams. We talked about how even they were. Look how close the games were. I mean, they were 3 great games. 3 great games. 2 of them coming down to the final plays. That's all you can ask for. This was, the best teams were there. And Florida earned that championship by winning 2 games there. But if you're a Houston fan, as my friend Jim Nance says, it's going to be a tough trip. I know he's going to his favorite place starting tomorrow, but it can be a long trip because I think there was probably a point in this game where he felt pretty good about what his team was doing. And then they just could not get it done down the stretch. Their offense just was abominable. And yes, people will use the word choked. Okay, they will. Hey, it's a word you don't like to hear. Okay. But, you get credit when you execute. Like they executed brilliantly. Play after play after play. They executed brilliantly to beat Duke. To outscore Duke 11-1 in the final seconds. To come from behind 9 points down with 3 minutes to play. In this game, they wind up turning the ball over 4 straight times, where a bucket would have given them either a bigger lead or the lead. Hard to live with. Very, very hard to live with. Now, Wednesday, 10 a.m., we will do our Masters preview. Augusta begins Saturday. Saturday. Augusta begins Thursday. They have extended coverage, obviously, this year, which is going to be good if you like golf. Yes, the Masters has always limited how many hours they're on TV. They're going to be on TV 8 hours a day now, and that is great for Masters fans who can't wait for that. One of the things I always am cognizant of, because I have been there, the weather is an enormous factor there. An enormous factor. You want to know what the weather is going to be in Augusta, because bad weather just destroys that tournament. And it looks like Thursday, there is a chance of showers. It's going to be 73 degrees. Friday is the iffy day. There's a 60% chance of rain. It's going to be 70 degrees. But then Saturday and Sunday, it's going to be chilly. It's only going to be 69 degrees, but it's going to be sunny both days. So if they can get through Friday without any severe interruptions, it looks like they're going to have a great weekend and should be in pretty good shape. It doesn't look like they're going to have any major crazy rain. And if the weather moves through quicker, Monday is 80 degrees and sunny. You'd love to see that happen on Sunday. So maybe it moves a little quicker than we thought. But I think there's a good chance that the weather will be pretty good in Augusta, which is always nice to see because it makes it that much better a tournament. Hey, if you like golf, there's nothing like Augusta. Nothing. And this is Augusta week. So if you're a golf fan, this is the week for you. First of all, this is the time between now and the U.S. Open when golf is in its heyday. But this is the week, Masters week. And it always was a big deal when you come off the championship game and then go to Augusta. as Jim will, but he'll go there, obviously, thinking about what might have been for his Houston Cougars, who wind up 2 points short against Florida. So congrats to Florida. We'll see you Wednesday.